We are back, and we are being joined by our second guest of the evening. Really needs no introduction. UFC strawweight Michelle Karate Hottie Waterson. Tough time last time out, with the loss to Rose, but you have had a lot of other things going on. You've been working on the Fox desk there. You've had you're going to be in the new body issue of the ESPN thing. Got a lot of stuff going on outside the cage too. I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Obviously, I want to get back into the UFC octagon and avenge my loss. But life goes on after the losses, and you just have to, brush your shoulders off and continue on.
So now is Rose who you want next, or are you looking for somebody else?
I would love Rose, but I'm not sure if there are. I thought that when Rose and I were fighting, it was a title contender fight, and the winner of that fight was going to get to fight Joanna. And so I'm guessing that's what Rose is, wanting. Of course, I would love to rematch Rose, but, that will happen. Maybe not now, but it will happen.
Love that. I definitely would like to see that matchup again. I think, once you get in there with somebody, usually the second time around, you can always kind of feel that, what they're going to do. I think that both of you having that karate background, both of you have strong submission skills. It's just one of those matchups. When I heard it got made, I was just, part of me is sad because I love both of you, but the other part of me, as somebody who loves combat sports, is just like, I can't wait to see how this one plays out. This is going to be fun. It wasn't fun, but it
was great. Rose is a great person. There was a lot of new things that I was trying, with the evolution of my, martial arts career, with my fighting career, trying a new stance, stuff like that. And, bumping up to that higher level of competition is definitely no joke. And I learned the hard way. And, it's at that level, I feel like it really is not necessarily who is the better fighter, but more so, who makes the first mistake. And I was the one to make the first mistake, and I paid for it.
Yeah, it happens, and I'm always one of these things. It doesn't matter, if you kind of lose, as long as you learn from that situation. Not let it happen again, and kind of do your best to kind of, make sure it doesn't happen and learn from it. As long as you do that, I don't have a problem seeing you, get that fight back with Rose and get one of these top girls when you get back in there.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm excited to get back in there.
If it's not Rose, who else would you be looking for in your division? Because you ladies have probably the toughest women's division, I think, with the most exciting fighters. So who else would you like to go up against other than, obviously, Rose or Joanna?
I don't know. I just at the moment, I've just really been trying to focus on getting better myself. I do want to stay within the top 5, top 10 girls. I know Tisha called me out. That might be an interesting matchup, kind of similar to Rose, except for, Tisha and I both have a similar martial art background. So that might be an interesting one. I've always said I'd love to go up against Carla because my wrestling has gotten a lot better since I started my fight career, and I think that would be a fun matchup as well. Honestly, I really haven't put much thought into it other than what I need to do to get better, and whatever my coaches say is who the next person it is for me to fight is who I'll fight.
I mean, I think that would be fun. Either Tisha or Carla would be interesting matchups for you. But it's like, I know that the type of person and fighter you are. You're not going to be the one that's going to be looking for one or the other over anything. Whenever that contract comes in, whoever name's on it is the name's on it, and let's go dance.
For sure. For sure. And, eventually, because the division is still building, we're all going to end up fighting each other at one point or another,
Oh, yeah. Like I wouldn't be surprised if, you get put in there with Felice or Justine Quiche or somebody to those effects, too. Just because, as Tom was mentioned, I still think strawweight's probably the deepest women's division that they have, just because even if once you get outside that top 10, those girls who are outside that top 10, you can make arguments for them to be into the top 10. It's just you got so much talent in there. It's nuts.
I agree.
It's the most consistent.
I agree.
It's the most consistent women's division. You're constantly seeing fights in that division. I mean, I love it. I wish all the other divisions were the same way. To keep building them up.
I agree. I was talking to my husband about that, and he said, in the strawweight division, there are a lot of serious competitors that are well-rounded MMA fighters, and that's great to see.
It's awesome to see, and I think in some of the pre-fight videos they were talking about last night's fight with Amanda and Valentina, that you're starting to see the evolution of these supreme female athletes who are well rounded in every area. You're starting to see less and less of some of these girls who were, I guess, what you would call specialists. You're starting to see true martial arts artists come out of it, and this is something that I've been talking about for a while. Like we were talking about, like the evolution of men's mixed martial arts, and just because of the stigma that women had when they first started being able to actively compete and stuff like that, there would just be a natural progression that eventually when you got to this point, when you got to the mainstream, you would see this area where you would have the specialists doing great, but then you would see the next class come in, and it's just amazing. You're one of the few fighters that kind of being able to that have adapted and grown as you progressed along in the sport. It's it's awesome to see, man. It really is.
Like, thank you. That's a huge compliment. I'm just blessed to be able to say that I'm still along for the ride, fighting professionally for 10 years. And it's really cool that I did start fighting when it was very taboo for women to even be fighting. And now I'm still up in the mix and, making a name for myself, and I'm still young. I'm still in my prime. So I feel like I have a good amount of time to continue to climb up the ladder.
I agree with that. You do still have time. It's not one of those things where, I still think, I wouldn't want to think that, but I still think you're still have enough time to even have another setback somewhere along the way and still be able to pick yourself up. I think there will become a time here where you will have that UFC title, just because, you're like, when you're in there, you do have great skill sets, but it's also your heart, your toughness. You can get through some of those rounds where you might get clipped, where some of these other girls who are still young, they might wilt and try to find a way out, where you're trying to find a way to get through, to get back to a position where you can start giving back. I think that's what separates you from some of these other girls that are there.
Yeah, for sure. I'd hope that my years, fighting professionally would be to benefit for me, But these girls coming up, they were watching me fight when they were coming up, and it gives them, the okay to run forward, and exactly. Yeah. So these girls are coming up watching me fight, but now they're gunning for me. It's great. It's great.
And it's funny, you just mentioned your husband. I gotta ask you, when the whole ESPN thing came up, how did he feel about it when it was coming down to it? I mean, obviously, when it all comes down to it, you guys decide whether to do it or not, but and what photos get used in it and whatever. But how did that whole conversation come about?
Yeah, so my husband manages me. He's in all my corners, and he actually deals with the negotiation when it comes to my fight contracts, anything coming through, the pipelines as far as things for my fight career comes through him. And so he got the news first that ESPN was even interested. And, you know, I'm sure because he's my husband and he's just protective over me and he just wants the best for me and my career and our family, we sat down and we talked about it. And we looked at the ESPN body issue magazines of the past, and there was really no negative reason why we shouldn't do it. You know, we all have body parts. We all have boobs and butts, and I think it's important to look at our body parts and appreciate them for the things that they can do for us. And you know, like I said, I've been fighting professionally for 10 years, and it's taken me 10 years to build my body into what it is today, and I think it's something to be proud of and not something to be ashamed of. And so I think it's just a good message to send out there to be proud of the body that you've built and to know that, you know, whatever you do decide to make of your body, you can.
Well, just make sure your husband's on top of the. Well, just make sure he's on top of those pictures, so you don't end up with a Ronda Rousey situation. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, that was like dropped to my heart. I can't believe the things that people do. You know, like people just like sabotaging other people's lives for what? You know, it's so ridiculous, and it's insane to me.
But
and
how much
you know, that
money
really
are you
broke my
get from
heart.
releasing a photo, Tommy? Tommy, really, think about this one. How much money are you really going to get from releasing that photo? Was it really worth giving that person anguish for however long they had to deal with you know, what were you going to get? You get $1,000, $200, you know what? Like, I really don't think it's worth being a crappy person just for that small amount of money. Because you ain't getting that much.
Yeah, because but you have morals. There's a difference. There's people that don't have morals.
Exactly.
They probably thought they were going to get millions for the picture. But, you know, nobody thinks about the after effect. They just think about, oh man, I have this picture. I'm going to blast it out all over the place, and I'm probably going to get paid, a ton of money for it. So hopefully
people are
100% careful.
Yeah, and it's crazy because that came out right. That came out right after they had announced that I was going to be on the cover, and I was definitely concerned. I was like, oh, geez.
Because I know I wouldn't want pictures of my wife plastered all over the place. I'm as protective could be, but I would probably have a murder charge for something like that without question.
Yeah, and he is, he is in every sense of the world, a man's man, and of the word, a man's man, and he's always been very protective over me and of our family and stuff like that. So yeah, of course that would break his heart. So, hopefully nothing comes out and we're good to go. But shit, the way this world is, it's
can't trust nobody. Period.
Can't trust.
I believe actions, not words. I believe actions, not words. The end. I mean, it's true when you think about it. When you think of what we see going on around this world, I believe actions over words any day of the week.
Yeah, and that's what we try to teach our daughter. You can talk the talk all day. Especially with social media, everybody can portray that they are a certain thing or a certain person. But at the end of the day, are you really, taking the actions to be who you want to be? Because that's what makes a difference. Is when you put in the time, is when you put in the work, and only you really know that.
Yeah, it's like I said. It's one of those things where it's a rough world anymore.
Yeah, it is. But it's also it's a good time to be alive. A lot of things are happening, and it's important to remember the good things that we have. I have a great family. We're all healthy. I'm able to do what I love to do, and I think it's important to just, remember the positive things in life. Technology has enabled us to, talk to, our friends and our family across the world just, in the blink of an eye. So there's a lot to be happy about as well.
How old is your daughter now?
She is 6 years old. Started first grade this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, my son just turned 5. My daughter is just turned 2.
It goes by way too fast. Yeah.
It does, but it will be nice to get back to some sort of normalcy once they're both in school,
Yeah.
Like 5 days a week.
But then, when they start going to school, it's like after school programs, homework, it's never ending. If it's not one problem, it's another,
I can't figure out how you trained and fought, while your daughter was, from 1 through 5. Like, that's insane. My wife can't go 2 rooms away without both my kids following her. So I don't know how you did a fight camp like that. I mean, extreme kudos to you.
Lots of support from the team and my husband, my mom, couldn't do without them, so.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, like you said, she just started kindergarten, so it's probably going to get a little bit easier, but is it weird with the, obvious with her starting school, the routine change? Does it affect anything as far as that goes?
I just have to adjust accordingly. So I have to, like right now, what my husband and I are doing, I'm waking up at because my husband has to be at work super early too. So waking up around 5:30 to do some boxing drilling with him, and then getting her ready for school. He goes off to work. I take her to school. I come back home, go for a run. Then I go to morning practice, run the errands that I need to run, go pick her up, either take her to gymnastics or karate, and then do my evening, exercises. But it just really depends, once the school year starts, figuring out the schedule and just, maneuvering things around what I got to get done.
Yeah, it's not easy to be able to balance all that.
No, it's not. But she's been a part of it.
Yeah, like she's usually the one sitting there on the off the mat, watching you do your thing. So do you think that she's ever gonna try to mimic mommy and go down that road? Has she been knocking on the door about starting to train herself?
She does karate once a week at the MMA gym that I teach cardio kickboxing. And, it's something that she does enjoy, but there are things that she enjoys more. She does gymnastics, and she enjoys to dance. She enjoys singing. And so, it's whatever she decides to do, but it doesn't seem like that is her main source of passion at the moment.
That's fine. I'm just saying, because sometimes, what you're into and everything becomes your kid's obsessions at times too.
Yeah, if it is, it's fine. But she's going to be in a world of hurt because you don't play fight.
Oh, I know. I get that with my 5-year-old son, because he'll watch some of the fights or whatever, and he'll be jumping on my back, throwing down the ground and pound like it's nobody's business. But his sister, who spent 4 years training, he gets mad because she's 9 and she doesn't allow him to do anything. So he gets all mad. She hit me in my belly. I'm like, okay, hit her back. She can defend herself.
You haven't lived until your son breaks your nose and cracks your front tooth. Yeah.
Oh man.
I got to get my son on the mat with me as soon as humanly possible.
He broke your nose. You're lying.
3 times.
Jeez.
3 times.
What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing?
The first time I was changing his diaper and he cracked me in the nose with an up kick. The one time he grabbed both my ears and headbutted me when I was trying to get him to go to sleep.
Oh.
He doesn't know his own strength. Yeah, he doesn't know his own strength. That's the problem. I mean, he's 5, but he's fast and he's strong. So you gotta
change his diapers with the headgear.
Yeah. Well, after that, I decided I didn't want to change his diaper anymore, or at least change his diaper to where I'm at a good 2.5 feet away from his feet, because he had a pretty good up kick.
I bet. Holy cow.
Uh-huh.
Jeez.
I got to get him on the mat soon. I think he'll be good with the Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu we have at the academy.
That's the thing with my son. I'm actually debating where I want to send him because he's wild. So I'm just thinking, maybe just play into it and just send him right to a Muay Thai gym and let him sink or swim and go from there.
Move to New Jersey, bro. Send him to my school. Move to Jersey. Send him to my school at Madama. But we got Rami Abraham, less than 5 miles from my house. He's the most decorated American Muay Thai practitioner right now. At least in the area.
So at your gym, is there belts with the Muay Thai, or how do you promote the children?
Armbands. It's armbands.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's armbands. That's how they do it with the. Where I train in Jersey at Madama, they just started doing the armbands probably around 5 or 6 years ago.
Uh-huh.
But that's pretty much how the promotions go. Orange band, yellow band, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's how they promote for Muay Thai.
Oh, I forgot I got Daniel sitting here in queue. We got a caller. You want to take a caller, Michelle?
Sure.
All right. Mr. Daniel, you are on the air with Michelle Waterson. What do you got for us, brother?
How y'all doing? Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm going to be honest. When you fought Paige Van Zandt, I had you submit her in the 4th round. I should have picked the first round because you do, in fact, have 8 first round stops, so forgive me on that.
Oh, it's all good. That's what I figured, too, because Paige is just super scrambly, and, I watched her fight against Rose, and so I figured it was going to be a 5-round war, too.
Yes, exactly. That's why, from her fight with Rose, that's why I picked round 4, because I remember you winning the title at round 4 off Penny back in the FC. That's why the odds of that pick, but no, you proved it wrong. But I do like that you finished in the 1st round.
Thank you. It was an amazing fight. It was an amazing fight.
Oh yes, it was. It was. Now, I do have a question, and I think you can really help me out with this.
All right.
All right. I was dating someone. It didn't work out, and my preference is more of a fighting type. I like to have someone to work out with who has the same speed as me, and I do Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. I like to run a lot. Do you think I should find someone who's as athletic as me, or just keep my options open?
I think that when it comes to dating, you have to let it happen organically. Hopefully you find somebody in the gym, because if you do want somebody that you can be active with, the gym is a great place. You just have to remember that that's where you met that girl, and you have to let her to continue to pursue her passions, and you guys work together and climb, continue to progress and get better together.
Okay, thank you. I knew you would give me the right advice, and I'm gonna be honest. It was great at first, but I learned that I guess I need to still grow with myself. That's why I had to sadly end it.
You gotta do what you gotta do, brother. You'll find the right one when the right one comes, man. You know what it is.
Exactly. It'll happen when you least expect it, and then it clicks when it clicks, and you'll know.
Thanks, Michelle. You see, Steve, I trust a happily married fighter, so I'm thankful that she.
Hey, trust me, man. It's a work in progress with all of us, man. It's not an easy thing to find. It's something you got to work at every day, brother. So, yes. Daniel, as always, interesting questions. Thanks for calling in, brother.
Yeah, I'll be back for Bamboos. Okay, see y'all soon.
Yeah, Bamboose.
Oh, Bamboos, my bad. Okay, see y'all soon. And thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Well, you make me laugh too.
Sometimes training with your significant other isn't always smart either.
It is not, for sure. I've gotten in the worst arguments.
Well, yeah. Well, my wife, when I joined the jiu-jitsu academy, my wife joined with me, so we started together. Yeah. And she always wanted to roll together. And I'm bigger than my wife, so I have, I'm stronger. And she would get pissed if I let up and wasn't going hard, but she would get pissed if I tapped her out and I was going hard. So it's a lose-lose situation.
For sure. Well, my husband has a boxing background, and so him and I would always get into it, and I try to explain to him my thoughts on the whole thing. I tell him, you can't do the things that you do in boxing and MMA because you have to worry about takedowns, kicks, this and that. The gloves are different size. You can't defend and throw combinations. So we get into this huge argument, and I remember one day coming home, and I was trying to show him this cool combo that I learned from one of the Muay Thai professors that had come in from New York. And he was like, you would never be able to land that. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you're too slow anyways. And I was like, I'm slow? What do you mean? And I went to throw a jab and just to show him how fast I was. And I accidentally extended it a little too far out, and I popped the square in the face, and I could feel his tooth on my knuckle. And then all of a sudden I just see blood trickling out his mouth, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's not a good combo.
As the saying goes, love hurts.
Yeah.
All right, Michelle, as always, it's a blast talking to you. I really can't wait to see what the next matchup is and all that. You're no stranger to us. You know how we do things. As we close things up, throw the proverbial microphone over to you. Anyone you would like to thank, training partners, teammates, any sponsors you're working with, anything, charities you're working with, anything you want to say at all. Michelle, the time is yours, my friend.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for bringing me on. I know I haven't had much action in the UFC, but, trust me when I say I'm still in the gym and I'm training and I'm getting ready for that next bout. Want to thank Onnit, who has always been in my corner and supportive of me. I got a huge project coming up. Just finished filming on that. It's for MTV, so keep an eye out on it. And if anybody's interested in following me and what I do on a day-to-day basis, I'm most active on Instagram at Karate Hottie MMA. And thank you guys all for being so supportive of my career.
It's definitely our pleasure to hear from you and all that. Been following you for the early days. Really wish you nothing but the best, regardless. In the cage, outside the cage. Really excited for anything you do. You're a constant professional, a class act as a person. You really can't wait to see what's next for you. Once you get something lined up, we'll have you on again here and have some more fun. All right, my friend.
Thank you so much.